Stop the cap.
Okay, so just to let you all know, I've been over here doing wild research. That whole CDC um, report, the 2015 to 2019 CDC report about, American fertility across the board and how 54% of black men are, you know, childless and only 46% of the black men in the community are fathering the children, which is contrary, to the narratives that have been perpetrated not just in the black community but outside the black community, has led me down, the rabbit hole of doing further investigation because I want the truth of what's really going on in the black community. And I will say that there is a major issue that goes on with the focus on blame, like who's at fault for why the community is the way that it is, or primarily why black women are, single mothers. Black men, even though it's not, a majority of us, black men do get married at a higher rate than black women. Black men are getting married at a rate of, I think it's 33% to 34%, and black women are getting married at a rate of 27%. And I know that people, if that gets complicated, you got to throw in divorce, you got to throw in people who will, not be married, get married later, then divorce, marry somebody else. This goes into this multi-partner family formation because um, Cassandra Dorius, I think that's how you say her name, from Michigan University, and she's now over at Iowa. She came up with the numbers that 59% of the 61% of black women who are mothers in the black community, again going back to the 2015 to 2019, study, that 59% of the 61% of black women who are mothers have kids by more than one man. Now, I went back and looked. I wanted to know, well, how many kids do black men have by more than one woman? And the only study I could find was a study, and by all means, those of you, who might be able to find some stuff, please put the links in the description box. All the link stuff is open. I'm pretty sure you can now actually. Well, I think maybe you can put it, but I don't know if it's clickable. I think YouTube changes policy on making it clickable. Doesn't matter. I can copy it and then go and put it wherever I want to put it. But anyway, just copy the URL. That would help me immensely in all this research that I'm doing. But I went to look at the men, and there's a study from, I believe it was 2002. Now, Cassandra came out, and Dorius, she came out in 2011. So all of this was before the 2015 2019 study. And the only number that I could find for black men was that 32% of black men have kids by more than one partner, which is still less than what's going on with the women. And the number for the women at that time in 2002 was 46. So 46% of black women in 2002 had kids by more than one man. And then when Cassandra Dorius did her study, she found that 59% of black women had kids by more than one man about a decade later. So obviously, that the whole black relations got worse in the 2010s, which was at the height of, when I first came online, and we were like knee deep in a lot of the, debates and back and forth, and even Karasin had written an article called Beyond, on her website, Beyond Black and White. And she was going off. And I read another article by Terry, what was his name? Terry something. I forget the name, but same thing. Everybody's concerned about black women looking like whores, and this whole close your legs type of thing. And it reminded me of back in the day when I made the video, like, what if your mom was a hoe? You know, because it was bothering me how like black men were criticizing black women, like, yeah, these women are thoughts, these women are this, these women are that. And I'm like, well, what if your mom was a hoe? Some of y'all got half siblings. You got, stepdaddies, or your brother's got a different dad and all that other stuff. What makes your mom any different from the women that you are out here criticizing, right? And I brought a couple brothers to tears on that. Just something to consider. I've been fortunate because I only know of one dick that has been up in my mom. That is a fortunate position to be in. And like today, now you got young kids that got to deal with, being criticized because other students find out that their mom is on OnlyFans. That whole your mom being a loose woman, or your mom being out there, or people being able to have conversations about them fucking your mom and they're not your father, that has a negative impact on boys. And I don't know if it's something that women even consider. But that is something that other men will use to attack you with. But I decided that I wasn't going to use that 32% because the data is too old. Like, that you're talking 22 years ago. If you're 2002 was 22 years ago. So I'm like, that data is old. I need the up-to-date numbers on what percentage of black men have kids by more than one woman. Even looking at the CDC numbers, and again, this also includes men who are married, but when it comes to the percentage of men that have, 4 or more children, or even 3 or more children, it's less than black women who have 3 or more children, or 4 or more children. So all indicators, no matter what angle you look at it from, even without having the specific numbers, it's like black women are having way more babies than black men. And that's the trend across the board, when looking at other races. It's just the gap is so much bigger, in the black community. Now, I could cite, job discrimination, marginalization, racism, things that obviously negatively affect black men are going to negatively affect black women. But there's other aspects to it, and I'm gonna get into that in a minute. But in my research, one of the things that I discovered, because I wanted to know, well, when are black women having all these damn kids? When is this going on? And the only person online that has verbalized, has actually stated this and verbalized this, as a concern in these like sort of black intellectual conversations is You Heard Me First Time, aka Gotta Be Kidding Me. Because she brought that up about older men getting with younger women. Now, I went and I looked at the numbers and went further back, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, in the mid 2000s, and basically 45%. And the CDC says 42%. That 2015 study basically says 42%. It's like, am I right? Let me think. Yeah, I think it's 42%. 42%, but then here's the problem with the CDC, and I'm going to get to this in a second, but basically 42% to 45% of black women are having kids below the age of 20. Below the age of 20. When you get over to the black boys, or young black men, it's 14%, I think it was like close to 15%, it was like 14 I want to say it was like 14.9%, but we'll just go with 15%. 15% of black boys are having kids underneath the age of 20. So we have 42 to 45% with black girls, and we have 15% for black boys. 14 to 15%. Which means that black women are getting with older men. Now, when I go over and I look at the next cohort up, which the CDC had as 20 to 24, that is where you see the spike with black men having kids. And then it kind of like teeters off. Like, so 38% of them are having kids between 20 and 24. And then from like 24 to like 29 or 20, yeah, like 25 to 29, you know, it goes to like 25%, and it's like another 25% after that, like from like 30 to like 34, like whatever. So like it teeters off, but it's at its highest rate in when men are between the ages of 20 and 24. Black women's rate, but at ages 20 to 24, actually takes a dip. Like in other words, when I say takes a dip, it goes from that 45% to 34%, which is just underneath the men. Okay, now, I know what people want to say. They're going to jump up and be like, yeah, because you got a bunch of predatory men running around sleeping with these underage girls. Rape and pillage. Right? And I don't doubt that there is some, predatory situations going on in that dynamic. But the problem I have, and this is why I'm making this video and calling upon some of you all. Now, I ran this by Cap, and Cap was like, he's seen situations. He's seen situations of a 20-year-old guy that couldn't go to the hospital to see his child born because the girl was, I think, 15 years old. Now, by today's standards, unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Go to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Nigga, go to jail. Right? But I went and I did some research on statutory rape laws and like when did statutory rape laws come into play and come into existence? And it didn't come into existence until the 1970s. And not all states adopt them in terms of age of consent. Like, it's messy. Like, it is absolutely messy in terms of people going across state lines, loping, all type of, like, nobody was getting the shit straight. It almost reminds me of, alcohol in, like, I think it was, like, late 70s, early 80s, where, like, let's say, like, New Jersey and Pennsylvania, right? Like, let's say Jersey's age for drinking was 18. No, Pennsylvania's age for drinking was 18, and then New Jersey's age for drinking was 21. People would go across state lines to go party and then drive back drunk, right, to try to get home. And until all it took was a couple of, really bad, horrific accidents of drunk drivers and a bunch of, a car of 4 teenagers dying. And then they were like, all right, we got to change the laws. Your state's got to be the same as our state. So it took a while for all that to go, to even out, right? Because people would say, why don't we have it across the board? Same thing as gun laws. Every state has its own set of gun laws because it's the United States of America. It is not just America. It's the United States of America, and all the states have different laws. The age of consent, in some states at one time some states had it as low as like 14, 15, I think. Then like Alabama or Mississippi or something like that. Then some states had like 17. Then other states had 18, right? And then they had like different categories. So the whole thing was messy. And if you talk to older black people, they don't trip about it as much because many of them either engaged in relationships like that, or B, they or their parents, had relationships like that. Like example, my grandfather, when he came back from from World War II. He was 22 and my grandmother was 16. Back then, for the black people, who were a part of the silent generation, shit like that was common. This is before the 1970s where we start getting into all this, predatory, type of relationship conversation. So I'm just saying that, to keep that in mind. But today, by today's standards, it's unacceptable. But in terms of looking at the framework of the history of girls or women getting with older men, that is the pattern. The difference with black people is that phase starts earlier. So the majority of women are dealing with guys that are anywhere from 4 years to 5 years older than they are. Obviously, a 24-year-old getting with a 15-year-old is clearly inappropriate. But that's the problem I have with the CDC report and how it makes these cohorts, because it makes cohorts like 15 to 24. Like what? Like that needs to be separated out. Like I want to know, like maybe every 2 years when somebody's having like that being a cohort. Because think about it, like 15 to 18, no, 15 to 17 is 3 years of still being considered a child by the law. And then 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, that's 7 years of adulthood. That is way too far of a spread to think that you're going to get any information from that. And the biggest issue is, and I've challenged people on this before, like where I try to test what people think, like where people's minds are at. And I'm like, what do you think about an 18-year-old having sex with a 14-year-old? They're like, oh my God, he should go to jail. And I'm like, you do realize that's pretty much every high school in America, right? When you enter high school at 14 years old. The seniors that are in high school are, at the end of the year, they will be 18 years old. There's some early 18-year-olds, especially those people that went to pre-first, right? So they lost a year. They're 18 years old, while in high school. And there's been laws that have been created to acknowledge that these people are peers. Because I don't know if you all remember the case of Marcus Dixon. Oprah did a show on their case. He was the black boy that was a football player. He was adopted by 2 white parents. He had sex in a classroom with a 15-year-old girl whose father was in the Klan. And the father got word of it, didn't like it, and then got him charged with statutory rape. He was 18, she was 15. There was a 3-year gap between them. And he served, I forget, I want to say he served like maybe anywhere from 2 to 4 years in prison. Like he got a 10-year sentence. And then they reduced, then he got released because everybody made a big stink about it, saying how this is not how the laws should be. But obviously they were talking about racial bias and racism because he's black and she's a white girl and the father is in the Klan and all this other shit. Even though he had 2, white adopted parents, it was a fucking mess. He lost his scholarships, all that shit, like life ripped apart, all of that because they had, sex in the classroom or some shit like that. I had a friend that ended up committing self-deletion for the algorithms because, and I've told this story before, he was 20 years old and he was having sexual relations with a 15-year-old. And I think she was like 15 going on 16. In any event, she went to school, told a friend, the friend told administrators called police, he got arrested. He was charged with statutory rape, served 3 years in prison. Went to prison, lost his mind. When he got out of prison, he didn't last more than a year. And then, we basically got the phone call that he had taken himself out. Because, now you're a registered sex offender, Megan's Law. I mean, he was fucked. He couldn't do anything. Mind you, little fact, I think it's Arkansas. No. I think Arkansas has the most sex offenders like per capita, and then I think also Alaska has like a really high percentage. I think people move there because that's the way that's how they can get away from Megan's Law, because Alaska is like sparsely populated and shit. But anyway, it was dumb. It was dumb on his part, But the sad part is, most people don't know the details of the situation. I know the details of the situation because the white girl, because the girl was white, the white girl's mother, she knew what was going down, and she allowed it to happen in her own house. But when the whole thing happened with the police, she panicked, and she went into complete denial mode and acted like she didn't know that the whole situation went down, because she was afraid that she would lose custody of her daughter. So that's why that happened. But like, she knew the guy, she liked the guy, like, there was no animosity about the fact that they were essentially dating. But the law doesn't give a fuck about that. So he got charged, and she basically just went into denial mode, and that shit got real awkward between his mom, and her mom, because she was ready to throw him underneath the bus, to make sure that she had access to her daughter, and it's totally understandable. He wasn't the sharpest tool in the drawer. Some of us, kind of like, we're like, hey man, you fucking with fire. No, man, I'm good. Her mom's cool. We know, all this other stuff. State don't give a fuck about that. But in any event, what else was I going to say about I talked about this in the different states and statutory laws. And the thing what I want to know is, I want to know what is the gap when these girls are getting pregnant? This 42 to 45% of black women getting pregnant. That like, in other words, it's a double bell curve. It's bimodal. And what I mean by that is, when it comes to black girls and their birth rates, there's two curves. There's one from that like 15 to whatever, 15 to 20. We'll go with that, even though you got 2 years of adulthood in there. But 15 to 20, there's still, that's what the CDC went with. But we all know, like, it's 15 to 19 if you want to be qualified as a teenager. But anyway, this is what I hate about that whole transitionary period. It just gets messy when you try to break it down. Because, like I said, 18 you're considered adult, but teenager years end at 19. Like, it's weird. And then you can't even like enter contracts until after 21. You can't even rent a car until you're. I mean, fuck. You can't. I think most places you can't even rent a car until you're 25, if I'm not mistaken. It's just a weird. You could go off the war and die, but you can't. You can't buy tobacco, because you're 20, but you're over the age of 18. It's just a weird, messy phase. But what I want to know is what the gaps are when these women are getting, with these guys that are older and having babies with them. Like I said, the report from 1997 says it's between 4 and 5 years. And so, example, you could have a guy, he's in high school, he's dating a freshman, he's 18, she's 14, or she's 14 going on 15, and he's 17 going on 18. Well, however you want to break it down. But I'm saying, you know, we've all seen situations where after the guy graduates, he's still dating the girl. So he graduates, he's 18, and then he could be, you add four more years to, what would that be? You add 4 more years, so he'll be 22, and then you add 4 years to a 14-year-old, she'll be 18. So let's bump that down to make it real awkward. So let's add 3 more years. No, 4 more years that she'd be 19. Let's add 2 more years to where she's 17, he's 18. So she's 17, and now he's going to be 20. So you got a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old. You see? And it's like, he's an adult, and she's technically speaking a minor. And if she gets pregnant, you have an adult that got a minor pregnant. But how many people are going to make us think about that? How many people are going to make us think about that? Let's say she's, 6 months away from being 18 or some shit like that. It happens. That goes on. That takes place. Just to put things into perspective and something that I didn't know, and I think it's because of black girls and Latina girls that really make the when you put all the population together, what was it? Was it 56% of girls, 56% of women have kids before the age of 20, which I'm like, holy shit. It's right there in the CDC report. Before the age of 20, the overall population, whites, Asians, blacks, Hispanics, have kids before the age of 20. I'm pretty sure it's 56%, because it's definitely over 50%, because I remember I was shocked when I looked at the number. I don't have it right in front of me right now. But I want to know what these age gaps are. Are most of these situations predatory situations, or are they situations where these people are peers? Now, I know the predatory situations go on. Like I told you, I was watching a TikTok video where it's a clip. Some of you probably already seen it. It's a NBA young boy, and he's like leaning his head against a bus. And this guy just made like a whole narration about because he was looking like he was sad and just looking. And it was an older black man, and he was like, yeah, man, there was nothing you could do, man. There was nothing you could do. And he was making the joke like that's literally how young guys were looking when you had older guys that were coming and picking these girls up from high school. Whether he was a D-boy, whether he had the nice car, whether, he was, a senior from last year, but he graduated. Even I saw that in the burbs, because if you were a senior, you had a car. This is because everybody had a car in the burbs pretty much. Everybody was essentially going to get a car, in the upper middle class, suburban neighborhood. But when you were, 14, 15 years old, as a freshman, you weren't competing with the seniors that had cars. And there were a couple girls that were dating guys that, they had graduated like a year before, 2 years before. So some of that went down in the burbs. But what didn't go down in the burbs like is going down in the black community are the pregnancies. And I want to know, because nobody's talking about it. And I'm saying, talking to Cap, he was like, nah, the women ain't going to bring it up. Because some of them don't want it to be exposed that, that they produced a child from what technically speaking was a statutory rape. They don't want to have that conversation. And I pulled a couple videos on YouTube of these young women, um, giving these, like, you search around YouTube. Uh, I'm pregnant and I'm 16. I'm pregnant and I'm 15. I'm pregnant and I'm 17. I'm pregnant and I'm 18. There's a ton of videos, and I watched a couple black women, and girls, give their discussion. One girl in particular, and I posted her on my community tab. She really irritated me with her video. Gave me more questions, but she irritated me because right in the video she says that the boy. She doesn't say anything about how old he is, nothing. But she says her baby daddy, basically told her he didn't want to have the kid with her. He didn't want to have a kid, wasn't ready to have a kid, and didn't want to have it with her. And then, went to calling her all type of B's and MFs. This is what she was saying, right? And she was talking about, well, I didn't make the baby on my own. It takes two to tango, basically. And then, maybe I'll put the clip in the video or the audio. Let me see if I can find audio. But anyway, she basically acts like, what did she say? Like, well, I'll give you the ability to participate. I'm not saying you got to participate, but I'll give you the ability to participate. Something like that. And it was like, whoa, chick. Like, whoa, like, you talk about two to tango. Yeah, it does take two to tango. But then she's like, who's messaging? But then she's like, she's the authority here. And, I had to ask the question. I'm like, why are you trying to have a baby with somebody who doesn't want to have a baby with you? On top of the fact that he doesn't have resources. Again, I don't know how old this guy is, but again, when I look at the cohorts, the majority of the 45% of children that are being born, to black women are being born, when the woman is less than 20 years old. And when you go over to the black boys that are less than 20 years old, only, 14, 15% of them are producing babies. So I'm like, these women are clearly getting with, men that are over the age of 20. But again, what is the spread? What is that gap? You know what I'm saying? Is it a 17-year-old getting with a 26-year-old? Or is it a 17-year-old getting with a 21-year-old, 22-year-old? Like, what is it? You know what I'm saying? Because there's, depending on the spread, I'm not going to jump up and down just because one is a minor and one is an adult. Because I see them as being essentially a part of the same peer group. And the state, has that, that 4-year gap. Most states have now adopted the 4-year gap. So that they don't have another Marcus Dixon situation. Brian Banks was the football player where the girl lied on him, and then, he got her to it. She admitted it. She felt bad that he went to jail and then admitted it, and then, she like sent him a message on Facebook, and then, he recorded it, and she had gotten all the money from the school district. That was Brian Banks. Marcus Dixon was the one with the 2 white parents. What else was I going to say? There's something else I was going to say about this, her whole demeanor. And I went and I pulled up some old information, and this is from like 1997, because they actually have been trying to deal with the teen pregnancy in the black community. And like I said, that's where it said, on average, it's about 4 or 5 years apart. That's what the gap is between these girls that are under 20 and the guys that are getting them pregnant. And I'm like, I'm like, that's That's just not something that I'm going to jump up and down about. I know some people may feel differently about that. I'm like, I'm not jumping up and down about that. You know what I mean? Because, especially at my age now, I'm looking at all that. I'm like, all them are immature. But, a guy that's, I would expect a guy like, look, if you're old enough to drink, you know what I'm saying? You only be messing with no chick that can't drink with you. You know what I mean? That's why I never understood about these. And y'all remember this? Any of y'all that was, clubbing in the prior to the 2010s? I remember that shit used to be all on the radio. You know what I mean? Come on down, to Gotham nightclub. 18 to enter, 21 to drink. 18 to enter, 21 to drink. And then you get into the stupid shit, chicks with their fake IDs up in the club. That was one of the things that another amount of research talked about, like in terms of like why the women are having these kids. It talked about, like the risk factors, fathers not being in the home, the like things, everything from a girl's self-esteem to how she values herself, to alcohol, the presence of alcohol, which actually the article emphasized how we don't talk about that. Like when you think of people binge drinking, you don't really think of black people, right? But I definitely have been to, I'd say about 2 inner city parties where, Hurricane, 211 Steel Reserve, Old English, you know what I mean? The malt liquor type of parties and stuff like that, where, you don't see it very often if you're not in the right, certain environments, but, this black women can act straight silly when they're drunk. I'm used to, me, grew up in the suburbs, went to a predominantly white university. That's why I don't believe that what's that chick's name down there at LSU, the one that they're saying that those 4 guys sexually assaulted her and she's all on the camera and following them and chasing them down the street, and then they let her out the car and she gets hit by a car. What was that? Something Brooks? What was her name? I forget her damn name, but I did a video on it. That's why I don't buy any of that, because I saw all type of white women and the vomiting and the throwing up and the just being just totally just inebriated. But I've also seen that, with black women, it just doesn't get discussed. It doesn't get that, that sort of falling over, like they get drunk just like everybody else gets drunk. But things can happen, with situations like that. Sexual assault, don't remember, feel some type of way about, not remembering, you know what I mean? Was all about it when it went down, but it's just messy. Again, I try to tell my young boys, I'm like, leave that shit alone. Leave it alone. That shit can ruin your life. She wake up, feel some type of way differently because she wasn't in her right state of mind, and it's going to be, you took advantage of me, even if you didn't. I've seen that shit too many times. But what was the other risk factor? It was some other risk factor. Oh, the other thing they talked about were these teen pregnancy packs or something like that, like where like the a risk factor for black girls getting pregnant was whether their close friends also got pregnant, because then they would all like try to be pregnant together. It's real wild shit. But anyway, getting back to that 1997, actually I can let me pull this out. I'm actually going to read this real quick. Let me pause this. All right, here we go. This is from first published March 2nd, 1997. The role of adult men in adolescent childbearing has received heightened attention in recent years, and new policy efforts have focused on statutory rape laws as a way to reduce adolescent childbearing. Analyses of the 1998 National Maternal and Infant Health Survey indicate, however, that these policies would not apply to most teen births. Among mothers aged 15 to 17 who had a child in 1988, 27% had a partner at least 5 years older than themselves. In addition, since 23% of minors with older partners were married at the time of the infant's birth, 21% of the babies born to married born to unmarried minors were fathered by substantially older men. So we got 21%. But mind you, this is talking about everybody. This is not just talking about the black community, which is another problem I have with some of these studies, because I just want the numbers on black people. I don't want the numbers on all other groups, because the shit gets wildly skewed by Latinas. It gets skewed by Asians who like basically don't play that shit. Like even on the CDC 2015 20 to 2019 chart, when it comes to the men that were producing kids under the age of 20, they don't even it's not even on the chart. They don't even have it on the chart because it like virtually doesn't even happen. Like it's literally blank on the chart. They got the number for white people. They got the number for, I think they got the number for Hispanics. They got the number for black men. But when it comes to the Asians, it's not even on the chart. So I take these numbers lightly when they're talking about everybody. It might be worse, in our community. It's most likely worse, in our community. Let me say not might be. It most likely is. It just depends on what you're talking about. Where am I at? 23% of the minors were older partners were married at the time of the infant's birth. 21% of babies born to unmarried minors were fathered by substantially older men, while births to young mothers and older men raise social concerns. These births make up a small share of the teenage childbearing. Only 8% of all births to 15 and 19 years old are to unmarried minors with a partner five or more years older. So this is basically saying back then, from this actually this is from 1988 to show you how old it is, and that's why I'm saying some of this stuff is useless by today's standards. That majority of them were basically within their own cohort, like meaning teenagers having babies with teenagers. But again, the numbers that I saw on the CDC don't support that for the black community. But the problem is the CDC has this, like it goes, the women who are pregnant prior to the age 20, and then it goes with this whole cohort thing of 15 to 24. And I'm like, what that, like you got minors and freaking adults mixed in all the, like, it just, I can't say anything definitively about it. During the last decade, researchers began questioning the assumption that the sexual partners of teenage mothers were necessarily teenagers themselves. Recently, studies have indicated that the majority of babies born to teenage girls were fathered by adult men. But again, what's the spread? Public attention has become focused on the role of predatory adult men in teenage childbearing. This view has led some states, such as California, Florida, to toughen and expand their statutory rape laws. In addition to the 1996 federal welfare reform laws specified as strategy to reduce teenage pregnancy, the states and local jurisdictions should aggressively enforce statutory rape laws. While prior research made important contributions showing that adult males father many of the children of adolescent mothers, such studies have tended to treat teenage mothers and their adult partners as a homogeneous group. I just said that. I literally just said that. I said 15 to 24, the fuck are you doing? Anyway, although Landry and Forrest provided a number of measures of age gaps between fathers and mothers, often just one combination is cited, that the mothers aged 15 and 19 with partners aged 20 or older. In their study, 65% of 15 and 19-year-old mothers had a partner aged 20 or older. Males and Chu took, what was this? Males and Chu took a similar, I guess he's the name of the researchers, took a similar conceptual approach, identifying school-aged mothers ages 10 to 18 and their non-school-aged partners 19 or older, grouping together 15, 19-year-olds and their partners ages 20 and older may misrepresent the issue of adolescent bearing children with older men. First, regardless of the mother's age, the partner of fathers being slightly older than mothers fits squarely within societal norms. This is what I said about essentially, all the women getting with men that are slightly older. So it becomes an issue when you're trying to say, okay, these are minors, these are adults, but then the teenagers that are that are closer to 18 and qualifying as an adult are still going to be looking to and getting with the guys that are 20, 21 years old. For example, in 1988, babies born to women aged 21 to 30 were fathered by men who were, on average, 3 years older than their partner, while a 25-year-old man fathering a child with a 15-year-old would probably meet with social disapproval. See, based on the gap, right? If and again, that whole adults versus minors. I don't think anybody's going to jump up and down when somebody's like, she's 20 and he's 25. They're like, oh, that sounds appropriate. Like, it's the way it sounds. I feel like that's what people get caught up on. Where was I at? Would probably meet with social disapproval. The same might not be true for a couple consisting of a 21-year-old and an 18-year-old, particularly if they were married. And that reminds me of, like, what was that movie? Was that like freaking A Time to Kill, when they had the guy that was like on the stand, and I think it was like Matthew McConaughey, and they were trying to discredit like one of like the witnesses or something like that, or the person that did the autopsy. I don't know what it was. They were trying to discredit the person, and then they, like, basically everybody looked at him like, oh, there was something wrong with you. And then they came back to court and he was like, well, what if I told you that they were married? And what if I told you that, they've been together, for the last 50 years? And, again, it's, but I'd say, we don't live in a society like that. We don't live in a society where it's appropriate for, a 22-year-old man, my grandfather, to get with a 16-year-old a girl. That is, you nigga, go to jail, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Second, many relationships between men 20 or older and women 19 or younger do not violate any state's laws, provided there is no forcible rape or incest. Although statutory rape laws vary from state to state, they always pertain only to minors, individuals younger than age of 18, but the age threshold is lower in many states. Further, most states specify a minimum age that the perpetrator must be to be charged, or specify a minimum age difference between the partners. That's what I was telling you all before about how messy the statutory rape laws. It's 2024 now, so I think things are more up to where they should be. But again, each state, I mean, statutory rape law is that's not something I wake up every day and I'm like, oh, what's the statutory rape law for Pennsylvania? It's not some shit that I look up. It's like nigga, she ain't 18, illegal. I mean, I have seen guys try to spit game. Like, it'll be like a young dude. Let's say he's like 20. He's at the McDonald's. He's a little cute girl come in. You know what I mean? She's well developed, got a body, got hips, got all that. And he's spitting game. Da 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 da. How old are you? Oh, I'm only 17. I seen dudes do an about face and literally walk away like, oh, hell no. Right about to, oh, let me get your IG, let me get your number, da 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 da, and they will do an about face. And there's other dudes that they'll sit there and they'll think about it, or they'll plot on it, or, oh man, she look good and she's feeling me, and well, maybe I can just talk to her, and then, what I'm saying, and then when she turns 18, I'll hit it then. I'll just wait, I just gotta keep her in my Rolodex. Just keep her around, and maybe I'll slide, and they think like that. Or you get dudes that are more significantly more predatory that, and I see people, talking about this with the, the sort of mentality, even though they're both adults, but I'm saying like the Haley Bailey and whoever the rapper is that she got with, I forget his name, but it's kind of like where you get this is like she was the good girl, that's who she was in the industry and everything else like that, and you get dudes that like they'll come across a chick like that and they'll be like, yeah, I gotta lock this down, you know what I mean, because typically shit like that will scare off other dudes, and now she's mine forever, type of situation. Kind of like, the Six the Goddess situation. I don't know what the age gap is, between her and, her baby father, but, that would be a good example, of what I'm talking about older guy, a girl that still qualifies as a teenager, because I think she had a kid when she was 19, if I'm not mistaken. You know, um, but I think that seeing the numbers and seeing that 42% to 45%, I was like, when I was looking at the shit, I was like, I thought the teen pregnancy in the black community, I thought that shit was like, some shit that they used to give public service announcements about in the 90s. And I'm saying, listen to the arguments, and this is the frustration with black women, because you know I don't hear all the noise. Maybe black women don't know these numbers, but I don't hear all the noise about this situation right here and whether these are predatory situations or not. What I hear is are black women running around acting like, you're dealing with some adult black people, in their mid-20s, and the black guy, he is either a long-term boyfriend or, he's, what do you want to call it? Long-term boyfriend, or he's married to the chick, and then, he leaves to go to the grocery store one day and just never comes back, and then she finds him on Facebook married to a white woman with his mixed children that he's actually taking care of. Like, these are the type of bullshit, retarded narratives that get thrown out. You know what I mean? Like, even with Karazin writing her response about, you act like black women are just whoring all over the place. That's what this 59% is saying. And again, it's like, this is coming from a woman who, she said is right in the article that she had Maxi meet in 1997. And I'm saying if Karazin is 49, 50 years old, you know what I mean? Well, Karazin was 20, 25, 26 years old when she had Maxine. She was grown. She was grown. And, same thing with Cynthia G. Grown. Okay? Grown women, I will have a conversation about sexual responsibility. Grown women, I will be like, nah, chick, you on bullshit. Minors, especially minors with adults or men that qualify as adults, even though they can be immature, I'm like, I can't have a she wasn't sexually responsible conversation with that. I'm not going to have she was sexually irresponsible conversation with that. You see? So the age dynamics matter. But one of the things that I think is like what's really dangerous in this conversation is the way that black women like to vilify black men. And I'm not saying that the guys and the predators shouldn't be vilified, but what I'm saying is because how do I want to put this? Because even with the 61% of black women are mothers, I wanted to know, well, when were black women becoming mothers? Like, when is this happening? Right? And this also like speaks to, why you get a lot of black men that, they go off to college and they come back and then they feel like, they can't throw a rock without hitting a single mother because, literally, 45%, of the women are essentially, taken off the market. 45% of the women, of that cohort are taken off of the market. So you're literally dealing with half the population, right? Mind you, remember 39% of black women, don't have kids. And like I said, people will move in and out of when I say move, people will move out of the being childless situation if they go off and have kids, but they're always replaced by the younger people that are coming up. That's why those numbers stay relatively static. They don't move. People are dying, people are being born, people are moving in to being childless. Everybody starts off childless, and then they move out of the childless pool. And then, but when you look at that static and that fixed number over time, that's not going to move, because you constantly have people who are again dying and people who are being born. But that's what your rates are. But any individual person can move in and out of those populations. And I remember what I was going to say, and it wasn't really the black men are evil thing. That's a part of it, but it's really the black women are awesome thing and black men are evil. Like when you contrast those two things, because the problem with every black woman is Michelle Obama, every black woman is Ebony K. Williams. The problem with that in framing things that way, because like Karazin in the article that she wrote, and not wanting to wanting to challenge the narrative of, as she felt it was, black women are whoring, and she wanted to shoot that down. The issue of countering that with, well, black women are perfect and they're all Michelle Obama and Condoleezza Rice and Ebony K. Williams and they're out here doing big things and they're all Oprah and they're doing this, that, and third. You have a huge demographic of black girls and that will never be that. And they are having kids early. And so when you paint, it's like I'm a strong, independent black woman. It's like you say that enough times, nobody's going to feel like they need to come to your rescue. Nobody's going to help you with your bags because they think that, you got it like that. You've been saying you got it like that. So what ends up happening is you are never able to address any of the issues, right? Like example, again, 54% of black men are childless, and 61% of black women are mothers, and we constantly want to frame the conversation about all these black men that are pumping black women up full of babies. And I'm saying even with, the 45%, 42 to 45% of, these women underneath the age of 20 that are becoming mothers at an early age, you're still only dealing with a minority of men. And you're not even dealing with these women's, direct peers. You're dealing with men that are slightly older. Anywhere from 20 years old to 24 years old primarily. That's what you're looking at. And so I feel like, you can't address what, you can't look at the problem for what it is. And again, like I said, Gotta Be Kidding Me was the only one that really brought this up, like made a video on it. And I'm like, I feel like some of these women are embarrassed by the fact. Cat, he's got a whole, a different, theory, because we were talking about, how these women end up feeling about, because watching that video that young lady that, she had the baby by the guy that didn't want to have a baby by her, it was there was a lot of like arrogance to it. And there was some other videos that I watched where there's this arrogance. It reminds me of, Kobe NBA West and his video and you can look it up. It's 15 years old. It's still on YouTube. What is the title of the video? I think it's No Baby, No Power. That was the name of the video. No Baby, No Power. And I'm thinking about, I asked the question, why would you have a child by a man that doesn't want to have a child with you and doesn't have the resources to provide for you? And it's like, even like I found another report where they did a study in Birmingham, Alabama, and they took 400 women, and they were asking the women. Actually, let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I'm gonna read it to you. Let me not be lazy with it. Let me go over here because I actually just sent it to the female animals for 1958. We're discussing role reversal. Yeah, I'll have to check that later. Damn, where's this at? Age differences, minors. Hold on. Let me pause this. Here we go. A study shows many black teens want to have babies. And this is from 2004. Jay Reeves, The Associated Press. And it says, this is Birmingham. A new study found it's no accident that many black teenagers are getting pregnant in the inner city. Nearly 1/4 of 14 to 18-year-olds, old girls who participated in the research project in Birmingham said they wanted to have a baby, and their desire had little to do with having a boyfriend. Instead, the study found that many girls paired up with men far older than themselves or had casual sex with younger men hoping to get pregnant. The lead author of the study, published in the August edition of the Journal of Health, Education, and Behavior, said researchers were shocked by the findings. The whole thing took us by surprise. And where's this at? Of 455 girls who participated in the study, Davey said 107, or 23.6%, responded that they wished they were pregnant. Many of them, mind you, we're talking about 14 to 18-year-old girls. Many of them had their dream come true. Follow-up work found that 80 of the girls, or 18%, were expecting within 6 months of completing the survey. So basically, they got these 455 girls, and then 80 of the girls, 455 girls, 80 of the girls were already were expecting within 6 months. So they already got pregnant. Mission accomplished on their part. And this is the thing about the whole predatory shit. Because it seems to me that, and I'm not saying that predatory shit's not going on, but it seems to me that these girls are trying to get pregnant. Now, that doesn't excuse any grown-ass man messing around with an underage girl. But I don't think that black women are honest about the fact that you have so many of these young women who want a baby. I saw another report where one of the reasons that the women wanted to have a baby, is it in this one? Where they were saying what they wanted. I think it was, they were saying that they wanted someone to love, and they wanted someone to love them. Right? So now we're back to why it's important for fathers to be in the home. And, the thing that Cap was saying, I got away from myself, but the thing that Cap was saying, and I wholeheartedly agree with him. Because the part that frustrates me are, the rape and pillage accusations that you hear later. You know what I mean? Like even like Kevin Samuels, or these women would call in Kevin Samuels and they would say, Kevin would say, well, what's up with your baby daddy? Why don't you marry him? And then the women would say, well, he's not good enough or whatever. I want a high value man. And then Kevin would ask them, well, I'm saying, why is it he's good enough to make a baby with, but he's not good enough to marry? And what's going to happen to the girl in, the video, what's going to happen to her is, or the video that I'm talking about, where she basically said, I'm allow him, to give him the opportunity or something like that to basically be a part of the child's life, like she's the authority. What's going to happen is reality's going to hit her when the baby's here. Yeah, the first year or two, everybody's giving you praise, baby showers, all that. It's all cute then. But then kindergarten hits, and the cost of diapers hit, or the resources aren't there. Then that's when it turns into the nigga ain't shit, rape and pillage, or the woman feels that the man manipulated her in some way. Because two things can be true at once. She could be on some, I want to have a baby. And he could be on some, I'm going to lock this, little cute girl down so she's permanently attached to me because I don't have shit else going on. Right? Two things can be true at once. But I don't think that these women really think about what they're getting involved with when they go out here and they get with quote unquote dusties, right? Because let's face it, 21 to 24-year-old black men are broke. The vast majority of them are broke because it's going to take you 5 to 7 years to really get yourself established and get on your feet and get some gainful employment. Most guys, after graduating high school, they don't know what they want to do and they don't know where to go. Just because you had a baby does not mean resources are falling out of the sky. Okay, go to Walmart. You want some birth control reality? Go to Walmart, go to the freaking diaper section and look at the cost of diapers. Last time I checked, it was like $40 a box. So, and that's I don't even think that's the good shit. I don't even think that's like the Huggies with the aloe vera type of shit. I don't even think that's the good shit. The good shit is even more. So that your baby isn't breaking out and baby rash and all the other shit. But I think that's what we deal with a lot of these women, who come online and they got these babies, and they hear Kevin Samuels and, the brothers that went to college and because brothers that went to college and shit like that, again, like I said, the black men that are, that make it to 30 without having any kids, they're not only more likely to have fewer kids, but they're less likely to have multi-partner family formation. The multi-partner family formation comes because of these type of relationships. The chick was out there, she was just fucking some dude, and it didn't work out. Like the girl in this video, the baby's not even born and the relationship's already dissolved and fallen apart. But she's pregnant. And what's going to happen? She's going to have the baby. And what do you think? She's just going to be single for the rest of her life? No, she's going to try to be in a relationship. And, there's going to be some other guy out there. Maybe he's not the best looking. Maybe he's not her type. Like he's the guy that she's settling for because she's got this baby and I could give you a baby, right? He doesn't have any kids. You know what I mean? And she'll link up with him, have his baby now. Now he's got to deal with the baby daddy situation. Now all of a sudden, maybe this nigga wants to show up because he mad you fucking his old girl. Now you got to deal with all type of bullshit. But at that point, she has 2 kids by 2 different men. The one she had, when she was 18, as in this video, which is. And she's going to be in that less than 20 category. And then she's going to have another one later on in life, probably at like 27 or 30 or whatever. She's going to be one of the, if Kevin was still alive, she'd be one of these women, at 27, calling in Kevin Samuels with a freaking 10-year-old son talking about, what do I got to do to get a high value man, Kevin? That's what ends up happening. And a lot of times, not even a lot of times, that is where a lot of this rage is coming from, especially with, the new generation of black men, the millennials and the zillennials that are like, yo, we ain't doing the stepdaddy shit. I ain't got nothing to do with the fact that you was fucking with some dude, when you were young and you got pregnant and you had a baby and you had all these ideas in your head of what you thought it was going to be, you know what I mean? And dude, didn't deliver, not that he had any indication that he was going to deliver, and now, you're tired because the baby was crying and you got to raise the baby, you got to do it all on your own, you know what I mean? And then it's like, and then you get the dudes, it's like, hey, I finished school, I got started on my career, and he's sitting there thinking like, okay, I'm ready. Kerry Washington's wrapped around the block. Where they at? Nah, what our mothers really should have told us is there ain't gonna be no Kerry Washingtons around the block. Hell, first off, what's crazy is there's no Kerry Washingtons wrapped around the block, and I'm saying more realistically, it should have been told that there would have been Kerry Washingtons with babies wrapped around the block. Because that's why a lot of us came online filing these complaints. Like, what the fuck is going on with all these women with these goddamn kids? Because remember, these women are not getting with their male peers. They're getting with guys that are slightly older. And I'm not saying that, those guys that are a part of that 15%, a lot of them will transition and be a part of that 38% when they get to that age. But the women are having babies way earlier than the guys are having babies because they're getting with older men. As a rule, young guys don't get with older women. It happens occasionally, Michael Jai White and, how his baby mama was older than him. I think she was like his babysitter or something like that. And if you talk to some people who live in the hood, and I talk to them, guys who live in the projects. I mean, one guy told me point blank, he's like, that shit happens all the time in the projects. You know what I mean? Young dudes being losing their virginity to their babysitter, or young dudes losing their virginity to their mom's friend. Shit like that. That goes on. But I wouldn't say that it goes on to the same degree as women messing with older men. That I wouldn't say. But again, I don't have the data on that, and the CDC is not giving that to me. And that's part of the problem with a lot of these sort of like reports and the CDC and all that, because when they're doing their research, they have a particular set of questions in mind that they're trying to ask that aren't the questions that I'm trying to ask. You see what I'm saying? And so the way that they, will frame things, or the way that they will, like the way that they put their cohorts together, I would never do something like that if I was doing the research. If my question is how many of these women are having kids with older men, and what is the spread? What is the average age gap that this 45% of black girls that are getting pregnant under the age of 20, who are they having babies by, and how old are those men? That's what I want to know. So I'm not going to have a cohort that says 15 to 24. That's dumb. That's not going to give me my answer. Okay, all you 45, here's the 45% that had kids. Okay, 15 to 16-year-olds. How old is the guy that got you pregnant? Okay, they give me an age. 17 to 18-year-olds. How old were the men that got you pregnant? Okay, I get an age. 18 to 19-year-olds. How old were the guys that got you pregnant? You see what I'm saying? That's how it needs to be broken down. And we don't have that information. We just have this like sort of mysterious, clearly these women are getting with older men, but we don't know how older. You know what I mean? I doubt that it's, 50-year-old men getting with 18-year-old women. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you gotta, when talking about this, you gotta talk about it in a realistic fashion, not just to sensationalize and be like, oh my God, we got a pandemic. No, because that's not what's going on. But I want to know what the actual numbers are. That's what I want to know. And there needs to be some research on, on this. But, and this will be my last word. Like, one of the things that came up, like I was expressing my frustration, to Cap about how resistant the women were to the 54% of black men don't have kids. Because that changes everything. Like it just changes so many of the narratives, that we've heard. And one of the things that came up is that a lot of women want to keep that going because this goes back to the whole Ali Wong, Don Juan special that she did, which is about how basically the only way that women are able to control situations is if the man is fucked up. And so there is an agenda, I'll call it that, to basically keep the narrative going that black men are the problematic ones in the community. Black men, have failed. This is why a lot of times you'll get women that want to ignore the successes of black men, because the only time that in Western society, the only time that women are really accepted in a leadership position, in all aspects of family and life, is if a man dies or if a man has failed. And there's a lot of black women in the black community who want to run shit, and they want to keep that narrative going. And some of that exists with some of these young girls that go off and, they have these babies, especially with guys that don't have their shit together. It's like, what type of future did you think that you were going to have, with this type of situation? I mean, I ran the shit past my own mother, and she brought up the type of assistance that women get. And it's all types. Some of the stuff applies to men, but other stuff, only applies to women, or, the resources that would be allocated, hold on, let me pull this up, because I know varying limits, wait, shift gender, age, hold on, maybe I don't have it in here. Migration, no, what did I do with it? I guess I don't have it in here. But anyway, I had a list social services for an 18-year-old mother that does not have family support. Let's see what comes up. Infants and children, WIC programs, temporary assistance for needy families, Medicaid, supplemental nutritional assistance program, child care assistance program, housing assistance program, educational support programs, job corps, home visiting programs, parenting classes and support groups, legal aid services, counseling and mental health services, educational and job training programs, teen pregnancy prevention programs, national helplines and hotlines. Now all that stuff is, it's minuscule, but to a young woman that doesn't have any support, that may be, that may be it. That may be the bee's knees. I was watching another video where a girl, and I couldn't help shaking my head. She was pregnant at 13, and then she was pregnant again at 16. If you YouTube it, it'll come up. She's like, pregnant at 13, pregnant at 16. I'm like, how did you get pregnant again? Like, his 13 wasn't bad enough. But, going back to the sort of mindset of where the woman thinks that, she's going to be, again, we got multi-generational matriarchal household. She's going to be, in charge. She's going to be, the center. She gets whatever emotional thing that she's looking for by becoming a mother. Again, going back to what I said a long time ago about how in the black community, you can be, you could be the biggest hole in the block. But once you become a mother, it's like you get diplomatic immunity. And for a lot of people in the lower socioeconomic strata, becoming a parent is the greatest thing that they will achieve. This is the demographic that gets ignored every time black women are like, we're all strong and independent, Michelle Obama. This is the demographic that gets ignored. Okay, this is the demographic that your sexy reds come from, and your Sukihanas come from, and your scar lips come from. This is that demographic. And again, the greatest thing that they will achieve in life, because they didn't grow up with a support system, they didn't grow up in a two-parent home, they didn't grow up with stability, is to be somebody's mother and have a child that loves them, and out of that try to do the best that they can do. And so there's nothing that, like, they don't think in terms of, oh my God, if I go out here and I get pregnant, I'm not going to get those high value men that Kevin Samuels was talking about. right? They don't even think that shit, like exists. And especially when you got women like Ebony K. Williams that doesn't want to tell us about, freaking trips to the south of France until she's damn near 40 and now, is trying to get pregnant herself. Right? It makes you wonder, like, what Kerosene was on. It's like, I don't buy it and Captain Solo doesn't buy it. The idea that, because, she got pregnant while they were in college. Don't buy it. That dude was like, yeah, I want you to have the baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then didn't marry. Like, it just doesn't add up. Why would a dude that comes from the background that Maximi's father came from, why would he co-sign the idea of having a child when he's in college and doesn't have his shit together? It isn't complete at getting his shit together. And then again, Kerosene got married, went off and had 3 more children. That man only had Maxime, his daughter, and then he didn't get married until after she was grown. He only has 1 child. So again, when I look at the whole situation and you saying, who didn't want to have the child, the pendulum is swinging towards him. It seems like some of these women are making, just like the girl in the video, making unilateral decisions. Why would you have a baby by a man that says he doesn't want to have it with you? What type of life do you think you're going to have? It's like, I don't know what type of life Kerosene thought that she was going to have with the guy that she got pregnant by in college. What type of life did she think that she was going to have? I don't know. Only she can answer that question. But it's there's the obvious question of how much statutory rape is going on in the black community based on the law. Because these girls are not getting pregnant by men that are, from their cohort, from their actual age group. They're getting pregnant by guys that are a few years older than them. And we don't know what that spread is. But by the same token, there needs to be a conversation about these women's desire to have babies with A, guys that don't want to have them with them, and B, guys that don't have any resources. There's a lot of feminism and matriarchy baked into that is contributing to the teen pregnancy in the black community that nobody wants to fucking talk about. Because again, if you look online and you look around and you look at all the videos that are popping up online, ain't nobody talking about this. Ain't nobody talking about this. Ain't nobody talking about what is the spread. Ain't nobody talking about 45% of black women that have children or having children under the age of 20. Ain't nobody talking about that. I had to dig that shit up. I mean, it's cool that, Media Man brought up, 54% of black men don't have. That's cool. But I'm saying let's look at the whole picture. Why is the black community looking fucked up the way that it is? Why do we have all these, single moms? Why are black women having more kids than black men? 61% mothers to 45% fathers. What is up with that? Okay, when are black women getting pregnant? That's the question I want to know. Oh, let's go to the CDC and let's look at the ages. Let's look at the age, cohorts. Well, goddamn, 45% of them are getting pregnant below the age of 20. Okay, let's go over to the boys. If I see 45% for the women, I should see 45% for the boys. Or at least on the CDC, it was 42 point something. Right? I go over to the boys, and 15%. Wrong. 15%. Wait a minute, where's the other, what is that? 45, what is that? Where's the other 30%? Where's the other 30%? Who are these women getting pregnant by? Clearly, older men. And I don't take the whole fathers not being in the home off the table, even though I've seen a couple videos in doing, some of my other research of women that did come from two-parent homes and they still got pregnant. Hell, the sister that took my virginity, who was 19 when I was 17, she's a single mom right now. Grew up in the burbs. You know what I'm saying? Father, was well, actually, I don't want to give away his profession, but he was a no-nonsense type of dude. And I'm like, how did you become a single mom? There was another guy I went to high school with they were the rich black family. Like, my family was doing well, but they were doing substantially more well. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were doing better than we were doing. And yeah, his sister went off. She went down to like Georgia, you know what I mean, and got with some like Muslim Hotep dude. And next thing you know, she had a baby. Man, the fucking father, he felt like he was all fucked up because I was talking to the guy's cousin. You know what I mean? He was just breaking his shit down, and he's like, "Yo, we don't know what the fuck she was on." You know what I mean? He was so upset. Like, he was just like, how the fuck, I done raised you in the burbs. You know what I mean? Like, when I say that nigga was making shmoney. You know what I mean? He was making like 300,000 in like the 90s and shit. He was killing it. You know what I mean? And they lived in a big ass fucking house. Shit, you could see it from the road and you'd be like, damn, like, you know what I mean? When you drive past the shit, you know what I mean? And yeah, his daughter, man, she went out. She was so uppity and so bougie. She went to school far away. They were trying to get her to go to Temple. She didn't want to go to Temple, and she went and went down south. And next thing you know, she turned up pregnant, with some bean pie selling dude. And, her father, like, he couldn't wrap his head around the shit. The foundations he laid, the way he raised her, he was there doing everything, all that. If I had to say one thing about it, I would argue that he over-policed, his daughter. And the reason I say that is I know because my grandfather kind of did that with my mother, and I see the way that she resists the patriarchy even as my mother. There's a lot of rebelliousness. There's a lot of, black women like, why do we got to do it this way? Or just not believing in the patriarchy. There's a lot of that goes on. And these women go out here and they make these unilateral decisions. And, yeah, the dude's participating in it, but like I don't think a lot of these guys think that that's what's going to happen once she gets the baby. Dude's fucking with her. He's feeling like, yeah, my girl, we chilling, this, that, and the third. Man, as soon as she gets pregnant, she starts talking different, just like this girl in this video, talking about allowing him to. Let me see if I can pull it. Let me see if I pull this part up. I'm gonna pull this part. Let me pull this part up. Let me pull this up. Where is this? Hold on a second. Okay, listen to what she says, where she's gonna talk about he doesn't want a baby by her, and then she says something to the effect of, "I was gonna allow him to like he doesn't have to participate if he doesn't want to." Like, in other words, I'm doing what I want to do regardless, nigga. Like, I'm giving you the opportunity to be a father. But if you don't want to be a father, full steam ahead, nigga. Like, I'm like, wow. Like, was she talking that way when they were messing around and she didn't have a baby? Now she has all the power. Okay, this is the 18-year-old girl, that's pregnant. But just listen to the authority in what she's saying.
So kind of got into an argument with.
Mind you, she's talking about him blatantly saying that he doesn't want to have a baby with her. And she's full steam ahead.
Baby's father. And it wasn't like, I just be feeling type of ways about like stuff he do and like how he go by it. He tried to compare me to these other two people. Saying he don't want a baby by me and stuff like that. I mean, it is sad. Cause like, I ain't do it by myself, I didn't force you or nothing. So it was like, he just made it seem like I was forcing on him. Well, I'm not forcing on you. Like, if you don't want to be there, you don't have to, I'm giving you the choice to be there, though, And he said, fuck me, I can go die and stuff. And
See, I'm giving you the choice to be there. I'm giving, like, chick, you don't have the fucking authority. And see, this die. Well, actually, technically speaking, she does. Technically speaking, she does. But notice how it's like this sort of like two to tango, making the baby together to like. I'm giving you the choice. I'm giving you the choice. I mean, this goes back to the clip that I just posted the other day, with the taps and the guy playing the trumpet with the sister talking about, she looking for help. She looking for a helpmate. I'm like, chick, your orientation is still wrong. You know what I mean? Again, this whole adding a man to their program. See, now that I got the sperm, now that I got the baby, I'm in control. I'm in the driver's seat. And see, the part that's fucked up with these young men that get these young women pregnant, whether they're adults or not, I'm saying the mindset is still it's still there. Like that sort of matriarchal, mindset is, if you don't have the resource, and a lot of y'all don't realize you're the perfect dude to get a baby from. You're the perfect dude to get a baby from. There was a woman, I can't say no names, where she was dating a dude. Guy was successful. She wanted to have a baby by him. God told her no. And then she went off and she got with another man and got him to get her pregnant and had a baby by a guy that was basically an unlicensed barber and had a baby by him. You see? So dudes that don't have their shit together, while some of you all may be thinking you getting over on some pussy that you don't have to invest in or put a bunch of money in, you think you getting over, you fuck up and you slip up and pump this chick up full of a baby, and maybe you got stupid ideas too. Maybe you want the baby too. But you go over there and you pump her up full of a baby, and because you're 22, 23, 24 and you ain't got no fucking resources, right? Your ass is grass. Right? You don't have the resources to fight for custody. Right? You don't have the resources to establish a proper foundation. She's got the baby. She's going to have the baby in the formative years, breastfeeding, all that stuff, right? Baby's living with her, with her mama or whatever, right? You barely know the child. You see, then all of a sudden now you just become this, dropping off diapers. All these videos where y'all niggas pulling out your phone and you act like you're showing the world. Man, I came over and I brought some diapers and shit, man, and she over there, she bugging, she wilding. Right? You acting like you going off and buying them $40 diapers, every 2 weeks, but you're gonna need way more than that. Like you feel like you doing something. You know what I mean? And you're not. And then it turns into, man, my baby mama tripping, man. And y'all, and it's like, nah, you was out there running up in a bitch raw while broke. You know what I mean? And again, it's like you got your stupid ass ideas, and she had her stupid ass ideas. And both of you were sitting over there on some stupid shit together. And what I hate about it is all of us out here, the 54% of us exercising discipline, try to do the shit in the right order, right? We got to hear all this fallout and all these fucking complaints based on what the fuck y'all was doing. We got to hear all this bullshit. Y'all producing, like damn near 50% of the kids in the community. And then those kids without resources, they're going to be the ones carjacking. They're going to be the ones doing home invasions. They're going to be the ones out here selling drugs. They're going to be the ones out here shooting each other, engaged in all the homicides and shit like that. They're going to be the ones shooting up football games, right? You can't even have a Thanksgiving bowl and shit like that without motherfuckers licking off in the parking lot, right? Those are going to be your kids. I always ask the question, I'm like, show me the upper middle class, kids committing drive-bys. Nobody can show them to me. Right? You're going to be the one that's going to be up on the news, after the cop shoots your kid 7 times, talking about, I forgive and I forget because I's a Christian. You're going to be the one on the news talking that shit. Because you didn't have a proper foundation for your child. Your kid's going to be the one getting all the disciplinary action in school and whatnot. Your kid's going to be the one in the schools, with everybody being, reinforcing negative stereotypes and shit. I don't know, the black boys, they just don't want to do. I don't know what to do. Right? That's going to be your kids. And everybody else, we got to hear about that shit. And that literally has nothing to do with the rest of us. But we got to hear all this, the black community, black people, the black community, the blacks. We got to hear all this bullshit. And I ain't got nothing to do with none of that. None of that. You know what I mean? I ain't out here, fucking no high school girls. I ain't out here. I didn't get anybody pregnant. I ain't never been to jail. Ain't no little me's running around talking about, or I don't got no woman, talking about what I didn't do for the child that I didn't have. I don't have none of that shit. None of it. You know what I mean? And then you get into these gender conversations and these women, these niggas and this nigga and Dusties and DVR black men and I'm like, yeah, 46% of the black men, who are fathers. That's what you're fucking dealing with. And then when it gets messy, when you get these, the 59% of women have kids by more than one man, then you get to the guy that's got the guy that had kids with the 45% of black women that had kids underneath the age of 20. He had a kid with one chick, and then later on, he goes and gets with somebody else and has a kid with them. And then the sister, she goes off, and she's a part of that 45% population. Then she goes off and gets with another dude that's got another kid by another woman that's a part of that 45%. Because none of y'all want to deal with each other. Y'all out here fucking, all type of, it feels good. Oh, yeah, it all feels good. And then y'all, decide even before the pregnancy is done, like with this chick, oh, we don't want to be together. Oh, he's a piece of shit. Oh, I don't like this bitch. Well, you done made a baby now. Right? You done made a baby now, and then, I don't want to deal with them. I want to start a new relationship. And then you go out there, and God knows how many times you all go out there and do this shit over and over and over again. Next thing you know, you got, 2, 3 different baby moms. Next thing you know, she got 2, 3 different baby daddies. And the thing is you're already fucked. There might be a handful of people that'll make it out of the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like even the my ex. You know what I mean? Her mother came into marriage with her father with a kid by somebody else. And that man that produced the child that she brought into the marriage, he's got like 7 other kids by different women. You know what I mean? She got lucky. That's all there is to it. She got fucking lucky. But and this is I can't even save the 45% of the women that already got these situations going. That's why you hear all these black women complaining online like they do. Hell, most of the divestors are part of that population. That's why you hear most of the divestors that come online and want to talk crazy about, they already are mothers. That's what they're not telling you when it comes to these divestors online. A lot of them already got kids. And they mad that they baby daddy, that the stupid ideas that they had in their head didn't manifest. You see? And so, they can't be saved. The ones that can be saved, like all the young women that don't have any babies yet, didn't fuck up. Hell, if you make it past, you make it past 20, according to the CDC, you've already won. You've already won. Even though the median age, I think the mean age is 22 for women and it's 25 for men. But that's only because you got the other 55%, of black people that have kids like normal people do. After they get themselves established, when they're well into adulthood. You see? This isn't about, how promiscuous black women are. I don't care. This isn't even about promiscuity. This is about the desire for them to have the babies in the first place. And where that's coming from. That's where the conversation needs to be had. Why are young black women desirous of becoming mothers? They want to become mothers. This is not, some sort of, manipulation and waving of the hand and Jedi mind tricks. I've said this to several people that, none of the women that I've had sex with the exception of one, and I've had sex with many different women of many different races. Women don't stop you when it comes to hitting the shit raw. They don't. They do not stop you. They do not say, hold on, wait, put a condom on. They don't stop you. I done got enough pussy to know that they don't stop you. To me, it's a shit test. I will shit test. I will act like I'm about to put it in. Rock hard. I want to go in there balls deep. She's ready. Licking her lips. She ready to go. Juice is flowing. And I'm telling you, these women will not fucking stop you from running up in them wrong. And I'm like, nope. And I gave up on even making it a shit test because I just accepted the reality that these women won't stop you. That's why you see the type of numbers that you see with 61% of them being mothers and only 45% of men being fathers. And there's other things to it because being a mother, there's certain things that are immeasurable that women get that men don't get. Like women don't fear the idea of losing custody. They don't fear that shit. Men do. Hell, the relationship that we have with the mother, there's a direct correlation between the type of relationship we have with the mother and whether we're going to see our kids or not. That's just the way it is. And 9 times out of 10, she's going to have primary custody. And if she goes and decides to develop another relationship with another man, now you really on the outside. Whether she moves in with him or he moves in with her. You see? Because that child is going to be raised, most likely, with his half siblings. So men have way, way more to lose, when it comes to, going out here and getting women all pregnant willy-nilly. And if they have goals, you can pretty much forget about it because they know the number one way to fuck up your goals is to go out here and get a bitch pregnant. Because the cost, the money, I mean, even just looking at the situation, if you a black man out here and you sitting there saying to yourself, I can barely take care of myself. How the fuck am I going to take care of a family? I will get destroyed in court. I will get destroyed. I won't have anything left for myself. Nah, we ain't doing that. And again, the numbers bear that out. The numbers prove that. 54% of black men do not have kids. 45% of black men are fathers. 61% of black women are mothers. 39% of black women are childless. So 54% of black men are running around looking for 39% of black women. And I imagine, with the cohorts, like when you start breaking it down, I mean, obviously more women are off the market the older that you get. But what's so crazy is by the time a black boy is 20, by the time he's 20, 45%, if I'm saying this correctly, 45% of the women are mothers. Which, to a childless man, that to them, that's off the market. That they're not thinking about wife and single moms. None of us grow up with the fantasy of, oh man, I want to go out here and get my shit together so that I could be with a single mom. And like that guy said in that post, man, he was like, man, it was nothing you could do, man. Because again, the women are not fucking with the guys in their own cohort, in their own age group. Women want older guys. Women are out here sneaking into clubs with fake IDs, getting picked up from school. Oh, he got a nice car. They think that means something. All he got to do is have a little bit, a place to fuck and a nice car. Black women are fucking. Hell, a place to fuck and a halfway decent car. A place to fuck and a Camry with some a 1999 Buick with some fucking rims on it. And black women are ready to fuck. I mean, seriously, y'all know what I'm talking about, them tan 1999 Buick LeSabres. You know what I'm talking about, with the motherfuckers putting donks on them and shit. Shit is hilarious. This nigga listening to this video right now saying, nigga, why you talking about me and my ride, nigga? Nigga, fuck you, nigga. This dude listening to this shit right now. Man, shit, man. Williepete talking about my motherfucking career. Sell this shit tomorrow, man. Fuck that nigga. You know what I mean? Then he'll graduate to a Nissan Altima. Oh, nigga, shit. I was going to get that shit. Now I can't get that shit either. Oh, man. Yeah, man. But I know this is a very long video. I had to share my thoughts on it because, this shit is, it's having real numbers and having the information is so, like, you just blow right through the bullshit. Like my thing now, when I hear women talking and they saying shit, there's a couple videos I've watched, lately, and I'm listening to them talk, and I'm like, I'm sorry, the data doesn't support that. I don't believe that. No. The data does not support what you're saying. Sorry. Well, because there's a lot of black women out here that are moms. There's not a lot of black men out here that are fathers. Because these women ain't get pregnant by them. Sorry, the data does not support what you're saying. Only 46% of black men are fathers. Sorry. Sorry, y'all got way more kids than us. What you're saying, black men spreading their seed all over. Nope, sorry. There's a minority of black men that are doing that. You know what I mean? But honestly, there's more black women out here spreading their ovaries all over the place than black men spreading their seed all over the place. Sorry. The data does not support what you're saying. And I'm not saying that to be malicious or spiteful or, to somehow degrade black women. This is the data. I'm telling you what the data is. There's something to this idea where, black women don't want to be seen in a negative light, and they feel like, and this is the whole thing about vilifying black men, they feel like, black men should somehow wear their scarlet letters. And I'm like, nah, we not, no. You're not going to put that on us. Things that we do, you can put that on us. But you're not going to put the reputation that you get based off of, the numbers, you're not going to put that on us. Once it's discovered, it's not on us. And that's how, comfortable I feel like a lot of women in the community have gotten with placing blame squarely on black men's shoulders. And nobody really takes the time to really look at what it is and what's really going on and, who's doing what and why. And nobody takes the time to do that. They just sit there and go, yeah, and y'all niggas is out here and y'all doing this and that. And y'all don't take care of your kids. And motherfuckers just go, you right. Yeah, there's a lot of black men out here that ain't being fathers. And, we need to continue to have them Larry Elders type of talks about black men not being fathers, right? And I'm saying, granted, to the black men who are fathers, that's a conversation to have with the black men who are fathers, right? The ones that, are not married and not present and all that. Yep, you're not going to see me say any objections. But to continue to have the conversation, not realizing that 54% of black men don't have any kids, that's what needs to be curtailed. I'm like, hey, chick, watch your motherfucking tone. Watch your motherfucking tone when you speak to me, because I ain't pumped up any chick full of babies and I don't have any children out there that I've abandoned. Watch your motherfucking tone. And again, especially, with this 45%, 42% to 45% of these women having kids before the age of 20. I'm like, hey, chick, watch your motherfucking tone. Because you clearly had a baby before I could have ever remotely gotten my shit together, in a reasonable amount of fucking time. You already had a baby. And, 2 years after we fucking graduated, 42 to 45% of y'all already had a fucking baby. I'm like, nah, no. You watch your tone when you speak to a childless man, that had it in his mind, to get your shit together before you go out here and you start bringing life into the world. You speak to me with some motherfucking respect. Because that's what you should have done, which is what you didn't do. And the same thing goes to the brothers. If we ever get into it, hey, man, I don't have your responsibilities, man. You need to handle your shit. You're sitting there talking about me or mad and upset at me because I'm child free or some shit like that, and I'm able to move and navigate and shit like that, and you feeling some type of way. I'm like, hey man, I wasn't running up in bitches raw. That was all you. Don't be fucking coming off on me because, I got free time. I don't got shit I gotta deal with. Don't be coming off on me, with some jealousy type of shit. I'm like, you did that. You created that. You got the enjoyment of being balls deep up in that. I didn't. You know what I mean? So, we are not the same. But anyway, I'm done with this video. If you all see any corrections, if I got anything wrong, if you looked at the data yourself, again, it's right on that CDC for fertility. I think it's table. What table is it? I think it's table 4. I think table 4 has it. Let me go on here. Pull this up right quick. Pull it up. Where's it at? Come on, where's it at? I used to have a window open all the time. Here we go. Pulling it up, cdc.gov. Go all the way down to the bottom. I think it's page... Damn, this is like hurting my eyes looking at this shit on the cell phone. Yep, page 15 on the CDC report. Women, age at first birth. Black, African American, single race, 42.2% is what it says. And then at age 20 to 24, 34.9%. At age 25 to 29, 12.3%. And then at 30 to 49, 10.5%. So as you can see, it falls off precipitously with each, passing period of time, right? And then I go on page 16 where it has age at first child's birth, and then it has men, and then it says under 20, black or African American, single, race, 14.1. So actually, it's not even close to 15. It's 14.1, not 15. So I take that back. And then at 20 to 24, it jumps up to 38.0, which is higher than the rate for women by about 5%. So most black men are having kids at 20 to 24. So like I told you, we have those in that 2024 population that are impregnating the black women who are under 20. And that under 20 category, and you can see on the left-hand side where it says age group, 15 to 24. That's so insanely dumb, it's not even funny. And I'm glad that other study from 1997 corroborated my sentiments on that. Like, it's just dumb. You got adults with children? Like, the fuck? Get out of here. Y'all supposed to be the PhDs and shit. And this is what y'all doing? You can't get any information. So then at 25 to 29, 22.2% of black men, 22.2% of the men that are fathers are having them at 25 to 29. And then at 30 to 49, 25.4% are having. So there's a lot of black men. If you look at this, 30 to 49, only 10.5% of black women are having kids. Granted, you got menopause in there for the women in there. That can start as early as, on average, it's like, 45 to 50. 55, somewhere in there. But I'm saying you can see that most women, they have their kids young. Men, on the other hand, 25 to 49 is pretty much 50% of men. 50% of black men aren't having kids until they are 25 to 49. And again, that's just a part of the population, the 46% of black men who are fathers. Because the rest of them, the other 54%, don't have kids. So the ones that do have kids, 50% of those men are having kids after the age of 25. All the way up to, 49. And at 49, you're at about 81% of black men are fathers at that. 81%. Wait, I don't want to mess it up. Of the black men that are fathers, 81% have had their 81% of the black men, basically of those that are ever going to be fathers, have had their kids. You still have the guys that somehow end up having kids after 50. Probably the first time child. 50-year-old dude comes across. And I've seen this 50 years old messing with a chick that's 38, wants to have a baby, and they'll go off. Who's the one, the Kenya Moore type of situation, because they were both like up in age when she had the baby. You know what I mean? I think he was, because I don't know, I just seen the picture of the dude. He was all type of gray hairs. He might have been in his mid to late 40s or something like that. But I'm saying, there's a lot more men that have kids older, than clearly than the women do. And we know that the biological clock, women and all that other stuff, we get all that. But I'm just saying the when it comes to that under 20, and just to put things into perspective, with white women, 23% are having kids under 20. With Asian women, 8.1% are having them under 20. And then with Hispanic women, 39% of them are having under 20, and then 38% for non-U.S. born. So they probably have similar situations in their community to ours. Let me see. Let me go over to the men. Let's see what's going on. I'm just comparing the Latino community. And with the men, 20 to 24, yeah, their rates are about the same. Basically, the same shit is going on in the Hispanic community. Same dynamics in the Latino community as in the black community. They got the same shit going on. It's just their numbers are just, let me see. Actually, the Hispanic men are right there with black men. Hispanic men, U.S. born Hispanic men are, wait, let me get my column right. Latino. Okay, U.S. Hispanic born is 37.8. Black men are 38.0. And if you take all Latinos together, then the Hispanic men are at 38. It's the same numbers. It's literally the same numbers. And then, what is this? Non-U.S. born is at 37.8. No, is that right? No. Okay, my eyes are messed up. Okay, non-U.S. born is 38.2. U.S. born is 37.8, and then all Latinos, it rounds out to 38. So they got the same dynamic going on. Same shit going on. So when we have these conversations about dudes talking about how they're frustrated because, black men talking about how they're frustrated because they can't throw a rock without hitting a single mother, this is why. This is why. But anyway, that's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe. Damn, man, I'm all stiff now from sitting down, but I want to hear from some of you all. And I know there's some intellectual people out there that listen to me, and some women that are, more truthful, that want to get to the bottom of some shit, like what's really going on. Because like I said, I don't hear anybody having these conversations, because I don't think that it's okay for women under the age of 20 with no support system, or coming from broken homes and all that, to be out here having kids. There needs to be, a discussion about that. And predatory males, need to be handled. Like that shit just shouldn't go down. I know some people are going to say, well, the statutory rape numbers, that's or the rules, that's Eurocentric. And if it wasn't for Eurocentric standards, then, in ancient Africa, shit would be all over the place, because that's how it was for millennia and all that other shit. And I'm like, I hope you ain't talking about being like the motherfuckers in Pakistan and Afghanistan, where they out there, with underage girls and all that other shit. I don't know if you've seen some of these documentaries on YouTube, where they, with these, like, child brides and shit like that. Like, no. We don't co-sign that. You will get fucked up over here. But anyway, that's my video. SWP out. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe. Oh, damn. I didn't even realize I sat there and I closed the damn iPad. I'm sitting there folding it up and shit and talking and then close the damn thing up. Anyway, I'm out.